Ambassador Zexthor had made many mistakes in his long career with the Galactic Council, but stealing from a human would prove to be his most educational. The item in question was unremarkable by any civilized standard, a worn leather journal, its pages yellowed with age, containing nothing but primitive scratches the humans called handwriting. Zexthor had taken it from the human diplomat's quarters during a routine inspection, thinking it might contain useful intelligence about Earth's negotiation strategies. The Vrelnari were collectors after all, and what harm could come from acquiring one insignificant artifact from a species barely a century into space travel? Commander Sarah Chen noticed the journal's absence within 3 hours. "Ambassador Zexthor," she said, her voice carrying that peculiar human quality that other species had learned to recognize, deceptively calm, underlaid with something that made prey instincts scream across the galaxy. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding. My grandmother's journal was in my quarters this morning. Now it's not." Zexthor's translator implant struggled with the subharmonics in her tone. His scales rippled with what his species considered amusement. "Commander Chen, I assure you the Council takes such matters seriously. We will investigate thoroughly. These things take time, perhaps several lunar cycles." "You have 24 hours, Sarah replied. The Vrelnari ambassador's laugh echoed through the diplomatic chamber. 24 hours? Humans were even more primitive than he'd thought. "Or what, Commander? Will you declare war over a book? The Council will find your reaction disproportionate, barbaric even." Sarah's smile didn't reach her eyes. "No, Ambassador. I'll come get it myself." The threat seemed absurd. The journal was currently in Zexthor's private collection vault, 3 decks below the Council chambers, behind security systems designed by the galaxy's finest minds. The vault's location was classified, its access codes changed hourly, and it was guarded by automated defense systems that had repelled attempted breaches by the galaxy's most notorious thieves. Besides, regulations strictly forbade any violence on Council Station. To attack another diplomat was to invite immediate expulsion from the galactic community, economic sanctions, and possible military intervention. The humans, desperate for acceptance among the stars, would never risk such consequences. Zexthor went to sleep that night confident in his superiority. He woke to alarms. "Breach on Deck 17, the station's AI announced in its perpetually serene voice. "Intruder bypassing security protocols. Nature of intrusion. Unprecedented." Zexthor rushed to his security terminal, his night scales still soft. The feeds showed a single figure moving through his vault level with terrifying efficiency. Commander Chen had somehow bypassed the docking bay sensors, crawled through 300 meters of service conduits that should have been too small for human anatomy, disabled 2 separate AI security systems without triggering their failsafes, and was currently cutting through his vault door with what appeared to be improvised thermite. "How?" Zexthor whispered, watching as the human simply ignored sensor beams that should have triggered stun fields. He activated his comm. "Security! Stop her! We're trying, Ambassador!" came the panicked reply. "She's in one of the old maintenance shafts. The ones built for emergency hull repairs. They weren't designed for internal security because no species would fit. Humans evolved in pursuit predation." Another voice interrupted. Dr. Kavalith, the Council's xenobiologist. He sounded fascinated rather than alarmed. Their ancestors chased prey for days across their death world, refusing to stop until their target collapsed from exhaustion. Their bones are designed to compress. Their pain tolerance is, "Ambassador, you need to return what you took." "This is insane. I'll have her arrested." The Council will." The Council reviewed the station logs, Kavaleth interrupted. "You took her property, Ambassador. First contact protocols are very clear. Personal effects are sacrosanct. Technically, she's engaged in legal property recovery." On screen, Sarah finished cutting through the vault door. Alarm klaxons wailed as she dropped into the chamber, rolled to absorb the 3-meter fall, and began searching through Zexthor's collection with systematic precision. Zexthor activated the vault's defense systems. Stun fields energized, filling the chamber with enough electrical charge to incapacitate any known species. Sarah's muscles locked briefly. She grunted, shook her head, and kept searching. "Impossible," Zexthor breathed. "That charge would stop a Drexian combat frame." "Deathworlder," Kvaleth repeated as if that explained everything. Perhaps it did. 2 minutes later, Sarah found the journal. She pressed it against her chest for a moment, and even through the grainy security feed, Zexathor could see her shoulders relax slightly. Then she looked directly at the camera. "Thank you for keeping it safe, Ambassador," she said, her voice perfectly polite.
"I'll see myself out. The journey back should have been impossible."
Station security had sealed every route. But humans, Zexathor was learning, had evolved on a planet that tried to kill them daily. They had learned to find paths where none existed, to squeeze through impossible spaces, to endure what would kill softer species. 43 minutes after she'd entered, Sarah Chen walked back into the diplomatic quarters, journal in hand, covered in thermal burns, electrical scorch marks, and what appeared to be coolant fluid. She nodded politely to a stunned Kavalith in the hallway. "Good evening, Doctor." The next morning, Zexathor found himself before the council. Sarah stood across from him, freshly bandaged. Holding her grandmother's journal, "The council finds," announced High Arbiter Quelon, "that Ambassador Zexathor violated first contact protocols by taking personal property from Commander Chen. Additionally, his security system's failure to stop a single unarmed human has raised questions about the effectiveness of Relnari technology." The gathered ambassadors, representing hundreds of species, all stared at Sarah with newfound respect. And, Zexathor realized, a healthy dose of fear. "Commander Chen," Quelon continued, "the council apologizes for this incident. We trust this matter is resolved?" Sarah hugged the journal to her chest. "Yes, High Arbiter. Thank you." As the chamber emptied, Zexathor approached her cautiously. "The journal? What makes it so valuable? What secrets does it contain?" Sarah opened it carefully, showing him pages filled with drawings, clumsy sketches of flowers, stick figures, simple words in a child's handwriting. "My grandmother wrote this when she had dementia, before she forgot who I was. It's the last thing I have of her. That's all?" Zexathor's scales paled. "You risked war, broke through military-grade security for memories?" Sarah's smile was gentle but carried that predator's edge that made his prey instincts scream. "Ambassador, that's what you've never understood about Deathworlders. We don't value things because they're powerful or rare. We value them because they matter to us, and we'll go through hell itself to protect what matters." She walked away, leaving Zexathor with a lesson that would echo through the Galactic Council for generations. You could take territory from humans. You could take resources, you could even take pride, but never ever take what they loved, because Deathworlders didn't calculate acceptable losses. They calculated how far they'd go, and the answer was always farther than you.